have Ananya inside the courtroom, and we are broadcasting from Delhi, Mumbai, Srinagar. And let me get in Zeenat first. Zeenat, anytime now, he's going to be handed the sentence. Now, what that sentence will be, the court will be announcing or rather pronouncing it in a few minutes. But to all our viewers joining us on the broadcast, tell us about the charges that Yasin Malik faces. Zeenat. Zeenat.
See, as far as everybody is waiting for the judgment, the court that will pronounce the punishment to Yasin Malik, JKLF chief, we are seeing that the people have started assembling here on the road also, although more presence of the media persons just outside the residence of Yasin Malik. The CRP of Jammu and Kashmir police are monitoring the situation. In fact, the drones are being used to monitor the situation, particularly in the Maisma locality, which is the bastion of Yasin Malik. In fact, the security forces, Jammu and Kashmir police are on alert to see that after the judgment, how the people will take this judgment, because this is the bastion of Yasin and the family members live here. This is the place where Yasin has spent almost all his life in Maisuma locality. So there could be more sentiments on ground, but as of now the people are observing shutdown by keeping their shop shut. The traffic and the commercial vehicles and the government vehicles are plying. If we talk about Yasin Malik, he is the chief of JKLF at present. The founder of JKLF was Maqbool Butt, who was Maqbool Butt, and then Afzal Guru also. He was the Yasin was also very close to Afzal Guru. So both of the men were hanged in terror cases. If we talk about Yasin Malik, he was involved not only in the terror funding, but we have been seeing his visuals from the Pakistan, where he shared his dice with the Hafiz Saeed, who was the mastermind of 2008 attack. That time when Yasin in 2013 shared dice with Hafiz Saeed, there was a lot of outrage across country that how come he first traveled to Pakistan and then he sat next to Hafiz Saeed, who was the mastermind of 2008 attack. So, but we have always been seen Yasin very close to power corridors. This time he has pleaded guilty when it comes to the NIA case, where NIA was investigating the terror funding network, the money laundering network, that this money was used as per the NIA, the government agency, the investigating agency, that this money would go into the agitation in 2010 and 16, and where Kashmir witnessed a lot of bloodshed. If you talk about 2016 agitation, some 116 people lost their lives. Similarly, in 2010 agitation, there was so many outrage. The law and order situation literally crumbled in 2016 when Burhan Wani, the Hizbul Mujahideen commander, was killed in Bamduru of Kokarnag, South Kashmir. And then if you talk about 2016, again the Hurriyat, that time the JLR, they gave the calendar to the people to make their day plans and other things. So that calendar politics and the calendar agitation continued for 6 months, and in which thousands of crores were lost. The economy of the Jammu and Kashmir was almost in shambles, and we have seen that as far as the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandit is concerned, the Kashmiri Pandit claims that it was Yasin Malik and his people that were responsible for the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits. And since almost 32 years, the Kashmiri Pandits are living a life of refugee outside Kashmir. So all the government in Jammu and Kashmir are trying to get the Kashmiri Pandits now back. But then again, we are seeing the way they are being targeted when we talk about the Rahul Butt's killing. And since then, the Kashmiri Pandits are on roads. They're only demanding the relocation of Kashmiri Pandits to any part of the country, but they're not ready to serve here. But right now in Kashmir, everybody is waiting for what the court will pronounce as far as Yasin Malik's money laundering case is concerned, whether he will get death penalty, which is maximum, and life imprisonment, which is minimum. So whether the maximum will be given the death or the minimum life imprisonment, we need to wait what the court will pronounce. But as of now, in the Maisuma
Absolutely,
locality,
Zeenat.
we're only
This is a
seeing
terror
that
funding
the
case.
shops
But this
are
is not
shut,
the only
but there
case.
is no...
Zeenat, as you were just telling us in detail, that what exactly and what are the cases on Yasin Malik, but this is the terror funding case in which any moment, and I repeat to our viewers, any moment, Niranjan, that the judgment can come out. But we are being told that this is not the only case. There are several direct terror cases linked with this man. That's why NIA is looking for capital punishment. That is the reason NIA is looking for capital punishment. There is heavy security not only outside the residence of Yasin Malik, but also outside the Patiala House Court as we speak. We have our presence there as well, and there is a massive security being done. Delhi police is using drones. Delhi police has called in the extra cavalry. The armed police has been called in. Paramilitary forces have been called in. So Delhi police is not letting any iota of a place as far as the security apparatus is concerned. And as we speak, we are being told this very moment, the court, the announcement could happen any minute now. Niranjan, over to you. Niranjan.
Very interestingly today, a short while back, in fact, what the NIA has also done is while seeking the death penalty that Aishwarya was talking about, the NIA had also, in fact, NIA had also said that Yasin Malik was responsible for the Kashmiri Pandit exodus. They in fact made that very interesting point inside the courtroom, saying that it was Yasin Malik, this terrorist, who was responsible for the Kashmiri Pandit exodus. There are first-hand accounts, there are witnesses, there are people who lost their family members, and hundreds of them were killed in the Kashmiri Pandit genocide. And Yasin Malik was a mastermind of that. He's even targeted our forces. Very interestingly, the NIA has made that mention that Yasin Malik was responsible for the Kashmiri Pandit exodus. Point number two, the amicus curiae appointed by the court to assist Yasin Malik had sought minimum imprisonment, which of course they will because they're appointed by the court and they're assisting Yasin Malik, that the life imprisonment should be given in that matter. Yasin Malik meanwhile said that if Indian intelligence can prove that he had been involved in any terrorist activity or violence in 28 years, then he would retire from politics and also accept the hanging. That's what Yasin Malik said on record. The judge said that since he has already been convicted, there was no point in arguing on the facts of the case and that he was already given the opportunity. And after hearing the arguments, the court reserved its order and is likely to pronounce the order anytime today. Anytime now, in fact. It was supposed to come at 3:30, it was moved to 4 o'clock. And we're all just standing by. The court had also said on 19th of May, while convicting Yasin Malik, and had also directed the NIA to assess his financial situation to determine the amount of fine likely to be imposed. But let's tell you that Yasin Malik is no ordinary terrorist. Yasin Malik is a Pakistan handle, not a handler, but he was a Pakistan handle that Pakistan used to further their agenda in India, especially in Kashmir. Handpicked by Pakistan, Yasin Malik often visited Pakistan, shared the stage with Hafiz Saeed. There is that famous video where he's sitting on the floor with Hafiz Saeed, protesting God knows what. And that's why today you have the likes of Imran Khan, the likes of Shahbaz Sharif's government, ministers, everyone talking about Yasin Malik, asking for Yasin Malik to be spared like he's some hero. He's not. He's a terrorist who played Pakistan's game in India, who single-handedly targeted our forces and made sure that our forces were targeted. He was also blamed of killing IAS officers, IAF officers, one of whose wives were live on Republic a few days back. And charges are serious. Section 16, the Terrorist Act. Section 17, raising funds for the Terrorist Act. Section 18, conspiracy to commit a terrorist act. 20, being member of terrorist gang or organization of the UAPA. Sections 120B, criminal conspiracy, and 124A, sedition of the IPC. These are only some of the charges that he faces, along with people like Bitta Karate. Bitta Karate has gone on record to talk about how he has killed Bitta Karate, along with terrorists like Bitta Karate. They're all on camera, confessing, bragging, boasting about how they killed Kashmiri Pandits and Hindus. over the years. The charge sheet was also filed against Lashkar-e-Toiba founder Hafiz Saeed, who was a close aide of Yasin Malik, and Hizbul Mujahideen chief Syed Salahuddin, who Yasin Malik was also in touch with. And they were declared proclaimed offenders in this particular case. So that's a little bit of the background about the case against Yasin Malik, while the NIA pushes for maximum sentence. And Yasin Malik claims that he gave up arms, he joined the mainstream, but he never did. He pushed the separatist movement, the separatist feelings in court. The proceedings will begin any time now. I'm staying with us. Aishwarya, what more are you picking up? Zeenat is also live with me. Zeenat. Zeenat, if you can hear me.
See, as far as the court decision is concerned, in the valley, particularly in Maisuma locality, the people are waiting what the court will pronounce, as today is a D-day as far as Yasin Malik's money laundering case is concerned. We are seeing the security apparatus has been geared up to deal with the situation. The drones have been used to monitor the situation. My VJ is showing you the visuals from the Maisuma locality, where both Jammu and Kashmir police along with CRPF personals have been deployed to monitor the situation on ground. You see that drones are being used and other gadgets are being used to keep tap on the situation, that how the situation will pan out once the court pronounces the decision as far as Yasin Malik's money laundering case is concerned. Partially the shops in the Maisuma locality and other adjoining areas are shut, but meanwhile we are seeing the traffic movement on roads. The traffic is flying, and Yasin Malik is in the court also. We are waiting for the decision when it will come in. Yasin has been an influential leader and has been quite close to the power corridors, whether it was in Pakistan or in Jammu and Kashmir, whether we talk about Mehbooba Mufti or we talk about Hariyat Hawk Said Ali Gilani. He has been quite favorite to all these separatists as well as the political leaders like Mehbooba Mufti. As per NIA, Yasin was the part of the money laundering thing, the money that was used and pumped into the agitations of 2010 or 16 or any other agitation. He has been using money, and he used to get the money from the different links that he had generated in Saudi Arabia, Turkey and other places, and that money would be used to pump here and in order to create law and order. If you remember, in the agitations of 2010 also 116 youngsters lost their life. You see 2016 agitation, the Kashmir remained shut for almost 6 to 7 months, and Yasin though was arrested during that period when Burhan Wani was killed by Jammu Kashmir police in Bamduru of South Kashmir, Kokarnag area. But we have been seeing Yasin behind the bar for the last 4 years, and police and the agencies have been investigating as far as his financial position is concerned. NIA now is demanding the death penalty to the Yasin Malik, and there are Air Force officers case. He killed Air Force officers, that cold-blooded murder. And then the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits do claim that it was Yasin Malik who was responsible for their exodus, and they are living a life of refugee in their own country. So there are so many charges against Yasin Malik. One needs to wait and watch that what the court will say and what kind of judgment will come today as far as the hearing, as far as the case of Yasin Malik is concerned. So it was supposed to pronounce the judgment by 4. Now it has again been deferred and if we talk about the Kashmir Valley, where the situation is being monitored by all the agencies, because it's a precarious situation at present, because everybody is eyeing towards Delhi that what the decision will be like and its impact in the Kashmir Valley, because since 2019, after Article 370 was abrogated, Kashmir Valley hardly witnessed any kind of protest or the shutdown. We have